Welcome to another episode of Courageous Me. And today we've got a silver lioness. It is Bec Monforte, also known as Bec, who is the founder of Silver Lioness Marketing. So, Bec, before we get into learning a bit more about you, and I want to know where that business name came from because it's super cool. But can you just tell me what excites you about having a conversation with me about courage?
Thanks, Kim. The conversation about courage is super exciting because it's probably not ever a word I would have used to describe myself. And after we've met and we had a few discussions and you saw me in that light, I really went away and took that as a really powerful, little trait that I might just stand up on that stool now and share my story, and have that courage. And it was a bit of a self-love, self-acceptance, self-healing, and today being Valentine's Day, I thought what better thing to do than show myself a bit of love and be courageous and step into this role. So thank you for the opportunity and seeing me in that way.
It is absolutely that is absolutely my pleasure. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And how beautiful that you, and when we were trying to arrange this, you talked about that it was strategically chosen this date because of giving yourself that self-love. And I love that because normally Valentine's Day, we think of love for another, whether it's a partner, a spouse, or a wannabe lover, someone you got a crush on. But to think about it in the context of self-love is absolutely glorious. Yay! So here's to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
So tell me, given that, this is all about courage, tell me a moment where you've really had to find some courage in your life that's got you to where you are today. And you can start from anywhere.
Okay. So life's funny, right? Because you kind of play the cards that you're dealt. But from a young age, I was dealt pretty good ones. So a beautiful mum and dad, little nuclear family out in the burbs of Melbourne, a younger brother, just a family of four, dog, picket fence, all that, and breezed through school, then breezed through high school. School captain, sports captain, active social life, beautiful family, extended family. Went into uni doing my Bachelor of Business, a marketing degree, and that phase of life started, independence and getting the train into the city. And that's when I got my taste of, adult life is going to be dressed up. I'm going to show up in a little suit. I'm going to work in the city. I'm going to have my soy latte in a takeaway cup and go and see what the world has to offer, that big wide world out there. And that was superficial goals, I suppose, but that's what the 18, 19, 20-year-old Bec was envisioning. Business girl, life's golden. I'll meet a boy, I'll fall in love, I'll get married, I'll have a house, I'll travel, la 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 la, life. This was all before social media, mind you, so I didn't have anything to benchmark it off like the poor kids growing up these days. But I didn't need to pull deep down for courage for many things until I guess the wheels started to fall off when I did go out on my own. And I suppose that's part of maturing and growing up. And but when you've had it so good for so long, I think the shockwaves definitely hit you a bit differently. So you breezed through uni again, did my traveling overseas. I was very lucky to have so many opportunities and live life, see what the world had to offer. Did meet a boy, did fall in love, did get engaged, and did get married. All pretty young, so what I'd say now when I look back.
What age?
It was 22.
Oh, very young. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like from that side of the fence where the world's ahead of you, you think, oh, I'll be married when I'm 25. I'll have kids in a house when I'm 30. And mind you, those ages flipped over and I was not feeling old by then at all and still felt like I had so much to do. But did that young and started climbing the corporate ladder. So still life churned away, and I got my corporate job. I got my little suit. I had my work life in the city. I did my 9 to 5, which with public transport and everything else was 8 till 6 or whatever, but you don't care because you're in that zone and making money. And
What industry were you in?
so I jumped into the financial services industry. Yeah, so marketing was my my passion, and still is to this day. So I'm one of those rare few people that sort of study something in uni and then follow it all the way through in all their career path. And marketing is one of those broad, ever-changing kind of industries, I suppose. So I've got to enjoy and learn, and I really love that learning, developing stuff. It's really motivating for me to know that I'm making a difference. I can use my brain, but it's fun, you know. I always am able to find the fun part of the job, which wasn't needed because I worked in superannuation, not super sexy industry at all. But for marketing, you know, you still have big budgets, you still have creative challenges, and I definitely got to meet heaps of great people in that industry, make great lifelong friends. Yeah, and really just leaned all the way into that corporate experience, joined all the networks, went to all the events, and I loved it. I ate it all up. Yeah, and the years ticked on, and yeah, married life was good. And so I got to a point in my life where we thought we'd start trying for a family. And as a woman, you know, you kind of have to really think of the timing, how it fits with your career, financially. You know, it's a lot. And because everything had just happened like clockwork for me in my life, I thought that having a baby would also. So when I decided that, yep, I'm ready now.
How old were you?
Maybe 27, 28.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Because I also thought you could have a baby, chuck it on your hip and still do everything that you're doing. Silly me. Absolutely not. But yeah, I suppose that's when we started trying. But yeah, that was probably my first step into the world of needing to pull from some inner courage because it wasn't happening. And after some fertility testing and stuff, it was advised to us that we would go down the IVF route, and that was super intense. So I'll get emotional, but yeah, I guess 3 or 4 years worth of IVF cycles, and I had the hamburger with the lot version of it, not just the fix this or fix that. So it was daily hormone injections, egg retrieval, egg implant, like under anesthetic, all that stuff. Are you getting blood tested and internal ultrasounds every second day to check things? And I'm trying to juggle this, at the hospital near the city, near where my office was. So you'd quickly be doing that before work, and then you'd be waiting for the call to see what the results were. And it was such an incredible emotional, mental, it makes it hard to breathe even thinking of those days where you just had to get up, show up, bruising through my stomach. So my tight little cute work outfits, I had to swap for sort of looser fitting things because I was sore, my body was sore, my heart was sore. There was a lot of sad phone calls, and every time you got results from tests that weren't good, you just felt like, oh God, miscarriage in amongst all that. But at like week 13, so week 12, and you tell everybody beautiful news, and then you see the baby's heartbeat, the next ultrasound, they can't find it anymore. That was a lot. And I never went back month on month with cycles. I gave my body that month in between. So yeah, there was a lot of courage needed in those years. And in retrospect, I just dealt with the cards that I was played, and the relationship that I was in wasn't a super emotionally supportive one. I lent on my mum for everything, 100 phone calls a day, and ins and outs, and all the little details. And but in home life, we sort of just kept business as usual, pretending like that was just a thing that we were doing to achieve the goal that we wanted to achieve. And yeah, that wasn't great because on my 8th cycle, it was successful. Was our For anyone that knows about the IVF, you sort of have some frozen embryos in the freezer for, you know, a rainy day. And I'd exhausted every other avenue, and I had mentally accepted that it wasn't going to happen. I'd given up. And then there was 1 month where I hadn't done any of the right things. You know, I'd been on the booze, I'd been, eating all the wrong foods, and did an implant then and didn't think twice about it. Yeah, 2 weeks later, didn't get my period and started feeling all the things like the book said I would. And I'll never forget that call. So, yeah, pregnant, loved pregnancy.
Hang on, hold back there. Hang on, you can't go. Okay. Oh. So, firstly, you've grown up where pretty much everything's gone right as far as you know life to be. I'm sure there's things in the background that might not have been perfect, but
Sure.
for the rest of the conversation, it's all gone fine. And suddenly you've come up against something that you just assumed would be reasonably easy, almost like tick the box, want a baby. Okay, let's get going. Let's make it happen. And it's not happened for you. Not necessarily the most supportive environment at home to be going through this. How did you then, during this and with all of those setbacks and being let down when they'd ring and tell you the results haven't been successful, how did you keep going? Like, how did you still turn up and go to work every day? And I'm assuming you're still working in the corporate world at this stage.
Yeah.
How did you actually do that?
Yeah, it is wild when I reflect back, and thank goodness people are so much more open in sharing their journeys these days, because to go through that, and I don't know, if I think deeply enough, I try not to let myself do it. If I think long and hard about it now, I still get so emotional. It was something I did in isolation and for such a long time. Obviously, physically, it was just my body that could do it, but you've got boardroom meetings that you're walking into and you're presenting at, but you've also got your phone there on the table, and you know that like at 11 o'clock the nurse is going to call and she might say you are pregnant or you're not pregnant, or how many eggs did they get in that collection, or we're hoping that you got 4 eggs, but if none of them fertilize, we're back to square one and you're back under anesthetic and we're doing this all over again. So every day your heart's pulled out of your body and chucked back in. And I had 2 really beautiful close friends in my job. And when you're in the corporate world, you're seeing these people 9 to 5, Monday to Fridays, pre-COVID. So they become your lifelines. You see them more than you see your partner, than your family, than anyone. So thank God that I made close bonds with them. And I suppose one consistent thing that has supported me to be courageous or to continue, taking step after step, was always my circle. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but I always correct people and say, no, it takes a village to raise a human, to raise the mom, to raise the person. You need your circle. And as life goes on, the circle gets smaller, but it's made up of the right people. If you're happy with who you are, your authentic self, be genuine, be true to yourself, you just keep the people in your circle who who are supportive of that, and not people you're obliged to stay connected with. You know, not all family is rainbow and sunshines, and not all friends are true friends. You know, if you leave the room, you might be the hot topic of conversation. So my circle is small, but always made up of the right people. So thank goodness for them. My work buddies that would ride that emotional roller coaster with me, and the most incredible supportive manager.
Did your manager know you were going through this at the time?
Yeah, male manager, father of 2 kids, incredibly supportive. One of the only people in my world that knew all the ins and outs. Yeah, so he was a huge facilitator, I suppose, and still absolutely encouraged me to keep my foot on the pedal, corporate and career wise, which I'll be forever grateful for, because it was also heading into my, turning 30, and I'm still on this IVF journey. But career wise, and things are picking up. I've nearly been in the corporate world for 10 years. The company's restructured. I'm given this position to head up a team and a whole new business unit. Like, I'm getting big opportunities, and little things are happening in my mind that are like, Bec, if you just stay in this lane, you're going to be a big important manager. You're going to be on like $200,000 in a minute. Like, this is, you can just earn money and travel and be amazing and worry about kids in another 10 years. Don't worry about it.
Life's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So then you start fleeting with those kind of things. But, in my heart of hearts, I grew up in a tight-knit little family. I love kids. I've always loved kids. I'm super nurturing. My brother had a little baby girl by this point. When you're trying for a baby, it feels like everybody around you is having babies. And I was just in that phase. All the whole friendship circle were getting married and having kids. And yeah, and I was a little bit doing it because it was expected and it was the next phase we were up to, but I was a lot doing it because I wanted to be a mummy so bad. I wanted to be a mummy. I wanted a baby in my tummy. And I think especially after the miscarriage too, like from the moment I fell pregnant and felt it the first time, I'm talking to the baby in my tummy and singing songs, and I wanted it so badly. I wanted that. So at no point in any process in my whole life has my little beautiful boy, who, God bless, is now in grade 1, and he is like the absolute light of my life. And I fought so hard for him. In lots of ways, which we can talk about in a minute. Yeah, but I think the network is definitely the big driver behind having the courage to keep going. Your community, your tribe is everything.
Absolutely. And can you just take me back to that moment where after you said you're on your 8th round and 2 weeks in, okay, what normally happens doesn't. So you're realizing, okay, something's different. Tell me about getting that call that was positive. And of course, again, not even taking that as a guarantee, having had a miscarriage then at 13 weeks, like you just said.
Oh, yeah. Didn't tell anyone till I think it was 16 weeks. I mean,
so how did that call go though, when they actually rang you and said, especially given you've kind of almost given up, haven't treated your body like you would have or you had been? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So through the IVF process, you kind of get one nurse, like a caseworker, if you like. So she's on you. So you've got this consistent person that you're speaking to all the time. And Cassie, I'll never forget her. I mean, this was years ago, 10 years, 8 years ago. And so when her name came up, Cassie, little nurse emoji on my phone, and I'd be like, oh God, it was always bad news, scary news, anxiety provoking news. And I had told her the last call, I'm done. I will do this last one, but thank you. It's not you, it's me. I can't. I don't want to. I can't. I'm done. And when she called with the bloods to say that I was pregnant, I reckon I already knew. Like, I'd felt it. I'd felt that it was at that right time, but I just felt like, oh my goodness, it was surreal. But jam-packed of fear as well, because after miscarrying, you're just like, oh, I don't have this in my heart to do again. How keep a lid on it. And she said, your blood test say that you're confirmed pregnant. And it was just silence, I'm usually a person that has so many words, but it was like, oh God, lost for words. Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it again. We've got this. I've got this. Now is the right time. Maybe now is the right time. And of course, as the universe throws things in your way all the time to challenge you, I had just been promoted to be the first female in that C-level management kind of role in the corporate world where I was. So no other, financial services, heavily male-dominated industry, and no one had gotten to the level that I was on. I'd cracked the 100K salary, or had all my super happening. Like, I was feeling very accomplished and confident in my corporate world, and very vulnerable and scared and not confident in my personal world. And it was almost like I was two different humans. At that point, I felt way more happy, safe, secure, confident, surrounded by strangers in the corporate world, than in the four walls of my house at home with my husband, and the baby growing in my tummy. That was becoming increasingly foreign and scary place for me on a few levels. Yeah.
And such a common thing, though, where women particularly feel like they're wearing masks, that, to turn up and do this corporate job and be as you need to succeed by virtue of expectation of the role and what goes with it. But yet behind the scenes is a completely different, almost version of you that, when you leave the job, so to speak, for the day, you take that mask off and then you go and be that person. Like, women juggle this kind of, playing two characters, two roles in the one movie all their lives. Yeah, really, really challenging. So tell me what happened then through the pregnancy. Obviously, you're feeling pregnant. You've got the promotion at the job. Tell me how things panned out.
Yeah. It's all a bit of a blur now, but pregnancy was textbook. Just everything the book said would happen happened. We're nesting at home. We bought our investment property, and then we would rent it, and then we bought a home in Melbourne's sort of Bayside suburbs. So things were really falling into place. Like, oh yeah, look at my checklist, look at me go. She got the home, she got the husband, the baby's on the way. Like, oh, this is life. This is the recipe for happiness and success. Work, I kept my foot on the accelerator for as long as I could. And again, that was my zone of genius place. That's where I knew what I was doing. And outside of that, I definitely didn't. And I picked my mum as my core person that I would listen to, and just kindly took advice from everybody else that wanted to give it to the new first mama. And I went on maternity leave, trained up my replacement, who was an internal kind of person, and so I was pretty confident I'd be able to take my maternity leave and then go back to my job and continue with life. And that did not happen. I could not have ever envisaged the 12 months that followed that. And yeah, if I had my time again, I tell you what, I wouldn't have wasted 9 months of pregnancy worrying about how the baby comes out. I would have put a little bit more thought into what you do on day one, day two, and every bloody day after that, because I was definitely very scared of childbirth, and I should have been scared of what happened after that.
Tell me why.
The wheels fell off. Everything. Nothing was how I thought it would be. It was so hard. It was so, becoming a mum was so beautiful from the moment that my little boy was put on my chest after, it's horrific 2-day long labor. He was perfect and beautiful, and he fed like a champion straight away. And yeah, I'll never forget that day. It was the best day of my life, becoming a mummy. In February too, and it's February now, so I'm feeling like this is all coming full circle and it's beautiful. But yeah, I suppose I spent so many nights crying myself to sleep, thinking that that day would never come in the few years that came before that. So, yeah, I never once felt overwhelmed with being a mummy. That's a lie. I feel overwhelmed every day with being a mummy. I never once felt stressed out, I suppose, or like not good enough to be his mummy. I have complete faith in my gut instincts and my bond and my love with my little baby. It wasn't that I questioned, but oh God, you go from this huge life to being at home with a dependent child on you 24/7, and you don't know like what you're doing, day in, day out. Nights go for eternity, days go for like 5 days in one. It was a big shift. No cute little corporate suits for me, no takeaway lattes and trotting off to important boardroom meetings where everybody tells you how clever your ideas are and how wonderful your work is. And no, it's not glamorous. It's fulfilling and it's beautiful. I swear some of the best moments in my whole life happened at 3 o'clock in the morning in the pitch black stillness of the night, and it's just me and my baby, and but we're both wide awake. And they're beautiful, but yeah, nothing like what I expected. And I suppose the wheels fell off pretty quickly with my marriage, in that bubble as well. The first 6 months were tricky, with a baby that didn't sleep, and you've gone from two corporate professionals, traveling for work, busy with work, always connected with work, email, phone, things, and found myself increasingly taking little visits to my parents' house with my baby. It was where I felt safe and comforted and understood and supported, looked after, on when I was at my best self, so that I could be my best self for my baby. So that was sad that wasn't how it felt in my own home. And in amongst all that wildness, again, as advice off my wonderful mentor of a manager that I had, was to get an ABN. Get an ABN while you're on maternity leave and just keep your brain working. Keep your foot on the creative pedal a bit and just do some marketing stuff for family, friends, or local little small businesses, and give yourself some purpose, because it's a lot from your brain to go from being on and being productive and value adding on all these levels with your marketing stuff to just living on 30-minute feed, sleep, play cycles. It was important that I sort of kept a bit of that part of myself. So I did do that. And it all kind of was this perfect storm of thunderstorms and rainbows all at once, I guess. So,
Did something happen?
yeah, something pretty big happened.
Can you share?
So I'd been married at this point 9 years. Yeah, we'd been together for 10 or so years at this point. and Bob's was one, and it was one trip back to my parents' place that I just and I never returned home from that. So he quickly moved on. I think it's safe to say there was an overlap. But yeah, I left in the November. She had moved into my family home by that Christmas, December, and had a pretty rotten few months to follow. Yeah, as a early 30s single mum living at her mum and dad's house.
So were you sus? Like you said, you went to your mum's house and didn't go home.
Yeah.
Did you suspect something was not right?
Oh yeah, I had for a while. But I'd found, you go a little bit crazy when you're in that state of mind, and I'm home 24/7 with the bub, and yeah, I'd been sus about his relationship with somebody that he worked with, and it was again pretty textbook, I guess, in line with other things that had happened in my world. It was a textbook. Someone he worked with, someone 10 years younger, much more beautiful and fabulous and fantastic than the sort of sleep deprived mama that I was housewifing at home, I suppose. We did marriage counselling for a little bit. He wasn't into it at all. It was almost like laughable. He checked out. Yeah, and I suppose leaving him was not even an option. I suppose I still held on to the fact I had a baby and that was our house. Like, surely he'll just say sorry and it'll change. And surely this isn't my story. I'm only a single mum. What the hell? Yeah, and it changed, but it got worse. It seemed to go from worse to worse. They went overseas, the bank accounts are emptied, and we then spent the next 18 months in and out of court. I think it was 4 court appearances, and a legal bill on my side that was $37,000, which came out of sort of divorce settlement. But by that time, with a tiny little toddler and life absolutely nothing like how I had planned. It was a pretty broken version of myself, for sure. I did try to go back to work. Everybody said, to try and regain that bit of you, but I was a walking zombie. I was broken. Yeah, there was no way I could step back into the corporate world with the confidence, with the grace, with the goodwill, with the positivity that I had before becoming a mum and before my marriage fell apart. I just didn't. I had just lost everything good about me. Had I not been surrounded by mum and dad and my beautiful friends, my story would be very different. Yeah. My why is my little boy, and even through all those yucky years, was very much my motivator for putting one foot in front of the other. But he is about to turn 7 now, and I'm still single mama. There's no way I could jump back into a relationship. I never want to start at ground zero again with no home, no things, and no security and stability. That broke me on so many levels. People sort of say, how you identify yourself. I'm a wife, I'm a mum, I'm a marketing manager, and all those titles. The only label I had then was I'm a single mum. I'd gone back to work part-time. It was really hard to go back to the senior role that I had worked up to and only doing a part-time job sharing. I mean, they were so supportive. They tried so hard from doing all the right HR things to make it work, but my heart wasn't in it. And they restructure kind of happened. I was offered a redundancy. And it was like I got made redundant from my marriage. I got made redundant from my corporate job. And all I was good for was looking after this baby. Oh, all I was good for. I mean, I loved that. But again, you spend all your time investing 10 years into this corporate career, 10 years into this marriage, into this life, and now I've got nothing. What the fuck am I going to do? Excuse my language. What the hell am I going to do? So what I did was I got an ABN, and I was like,
not I got a counsellor or a therapist or anything. I got an ABN.
Yeah, don't worry,
I
got some strong antidepressant tablets.
Good.
And I got lots of Tim Tams, but I made my business and I called it Silver Lioness because it was the silver lining on a really shit part of my life. And I wanted to always remember that. It wasn't gold. It wasn't my gold option path of career. It wasn't the best, but it was silver, and silver was going to be good enough because silver is still sparkly and shiny. And lioness is a spirit animal that I hold on to every day around the artwork around my house, my little doodahs in my little snippets through my marketing work that I do. The lioness is fearless, brave, quietly powerful, like feminine. You can still be strong but nurturing, and my nurturing vibes is what I've retained, and actually that vulnerability has become my strength. And I love that for me because I'm no longer that woman with two masks. I wake up as Bec, the mum. I'm first and foremost mum, and I'm a marketing manager. I'm a CEO now of myself, but I don't have to wear two masks because if I show up to my clients and I'm in my active wear because I've just done basketball training with my kid, that's fine because I'm my authentic true self. I'm using my brain, I'm doing my work, I'm getting job done, I'm invoices, pay my rent, I'm managing, and it feels so good and so like it's supposed to feel now because of this feminine energy that makes me feel weak and strong, kind and brave and all these things at once. But just what it doesn't make me feel is fake, like I don't belong. I feel I've built a little world where I feel safe and secure in my own four walls in a way that makes me feel clever and smart and appreciated and loved, I guess. But it definitely took courage to keep, finding that avenue and finding that way and putting faith in myself, I suppose, when I didn't even know who I was.
And this is why when I met you, I could just see this incredibly strong, powerful, but beautifully feminine woman. And you shared some of your story, not all of the detail that you've just shared now. And I remember sitting there going, wow, you are so inspiring and so amazing. And I know you don't think it right because this was just your life, but I know there's others that are sitting here listening now. They can feel the pain. We can see the pain, but you've turned all of that around. You now run and are the CEO of your own marketing business because when other people were getting therapists and that you got an ABN,
Yeah.
very, very, very good advice.
Yeah.
you've done that, and you've also got another business, which I'll get you to talk to me about as well. You're the mother, the proud, incredible mother of a gorgeous little boy who's, as you say, just turned 8?
He's 7 this month.
7.
Yeah.
7, going into grade 1. Like, seriously, hat off to you. And
Thanks.
I find it was interesting when you said, I understand where Silver Lioness has come from, where the name has, and, the whole silver lining. But you said you feel like silver's still shiny, but it wasn't gold. Why wasn't it gold?
Yeah. Well, I didn't pick gold lioness because the marketing girl in me was every word had a lot of weight. I think that was a bit of a imposter syndrome or perfectionist sort of thing happening, but it was also like me acknowledging, life coasted. So you coasted through life, and then the roads got kind of messy. So that checklist for happiness, scratch it up and chuck it in the bin. And now your second phase of life has started, and there is no checklist. We're going to just curate a world that feels good. I go to sleep with a clear, clean conscience. I'm doing my best every day. So it might not be a gold standard in how society or the world, rates success and happiness, but silver is still sparkly. And if I can just keep my sparkles happening every day, that's success for me. Yeah, I'm pretty bloody happy with that.
And Bec, this is something I talk about with women all the time, that who said that the gold standard is the gold standard? Like, who dictated that? That's what other people have said, by this stage, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should have this many kids, you should have this kind of job, earning this kind of income, living in this kind of house. Who says? And I love, because life is not a fairy tale, right? And you've proven that. Maybe you grew up, and I'm saying this because I had the same experience. I grew up thinking life was a bit of a fairy tale, right? Seriously, everything was reasonably straightforward, worked out until the day that it didn't, and it came crashing down. And it's those moments when it does come crashing down, when you're on the other side, which is where you are now, that you look back, and the biggest part of your growth and really bringing out that lioness within you came out in those darker moments, in those shadows. Those were the pieces that had to be exposed to let you work out and to give you your own checklist of what success and happiness looks like. Ditch what society is. There's no gold and silver and bronze and all of that in our own world. And that cloud being a silver lining, and that was what you got, that silver line. This to me is you've got more than gold, girl. Yeah, you've won the game, because wow, you are this really, really strong, independent woman who, by the way, got a baby.
Yeah, I did.
You got a baby, and a beautiful, delicious one, it sounds like, too.
Gorgeous. Yes.
And you're now creating life. Do you know how many women are tortured daily by having these 2 masks? To go, oh, yeah, I've got to take that one off today, and I've got to go and show up with this one on. And then, then I come home and then I go, it is exhausting. And these are the complaints I get so often. It is exhausting. You've managed to get to a point in life where, one, you've got a baby, so you got your dream of becoming a mum came true, which doesn't for everyone, but yours did. And you get to wear only one, or don't even wear a mask. You just get to turn up as you. Oh, yeah, easy? Absolutely not. Courage daily, I would suggest.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, you got to dig deep. But I've got this beautiful quote on my desk, which I don't work on because it's too messy. So the dining room table is my desk. But when your why is powerful, the how is easy. And my why is so powerful. I wake up to his beautiful little eyes and his chubby cheeks like every day. My why is powerful. So my how, like, I'll figure it out. We'll work it out. We'll make it happen, because give him someone to be proud of.
Well, you're a kick-ass lioness. So, yes, absolutely. So tell me, so you run the Silver Lioness Marketing. That's one business. Now, I know you also have another business on the side. Tell me about how that came about, because I have heard the story and I love it.
so so this is yay me in my healing phase. So I move suburbs and move into a home just for me and my little boy. So this is big stuff for me, and I do this because we're getting on with life now. He's going to start primary school. I need to go back to the suburbs where the family home was so he can have a relationship with his father. He can be part of that community. And I'm thinking this is going to be easier for logistics, for sports, for friendship groups, for the next sort of 5, 10, 15 years of schooling that's ahead. I'll be the one to compromise. And this is the story of mums and motherhood and motherload. This is the mental load. This is your consideration set when you're making decisions. It's everyone and everyone's needs before yours, even your ex-husband. So I move myself and my little boy to our home, which is a big deal for me. We furnish it, we set it up, we settle into this new area, and first thing we need to do is like find where we're going to get our local good coffee from, where's the best park that we can play on the playground with, who makes the best pizza, all those big important things. And he settles into kindy, which feeds into the primary school. So he's doing his kindy hours, and I've all of a sudden got a few hours where, oh my goodness, I can go and get clients and grow my business a little bit. How am I going to do that? I'll join like a local networking group. So I'll do a bit of online research, and I find this beautiful networking group called the Kingston Collective. And there's amazing ladies running it, and she's like a local mom, business owner, and there's this network of maybe 200 businesses from around the Kingston area. So I'm thinking, great, because even after COVID and the 5Ks is lifted, I still feel like I'm just happy in my 5Ks now. My parents are within 5Ks, the big shopping centres within 5Ks. School, sport, everything's in 5Ks. I'm happy with that. I'm feeling like, yeah, this is my world. And so I want to do business with people who are in that vibe too. So go along to this first meeting, and everybody is amazing. The energy as soon as you walk into the room, not pretentious, not fake, everybody juggling all their shit, and everybody a little bit messy, but everybody's heart's in the right place, trying to do business things, do motherhood things, do parent things, not just females, as males and females as well. And somebody giving advice, I think at the time it was on brand. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'll register for the next one. Actually, I'm just going to sign up and be a member because you got a local directory listing and stuff. By like my second or third event, I'd made friends. I like to befriend everybody that I interact with. Made friends with this lady who ran it and told her a bit about my background. And she said, oh, great, we don't have anyone in marketing. Maybe you'd like to do 3 pieces of social media advice you'd give to a small business owner, and you can run the next masterclass. Amazing. So she set up the event and it sold out. So I was tickled pink, like with the enthusiasm of the local network that they wanted that. So the appetite was there, tick. And I just had to deliver. And so this takes me back. It was a little bit triggering to corporate Bec, who would stand up at conferences and lead seminars and symposiums with thousands of people. And, I loved that stuff, but I broke and spiraled for all that time in between. And I didn't know if I could still, like, how do I show up as that person? Because I'm not that girl anymore. And so it was really rewarding for me. And, oh my God, I give myself goosebumps talking about this story, because it was a beautiful, like, it was a nursery. It was at the back of a plant nursery in this studio. So it was cozy. It wasn't a conference stiff stage full of people in suits. It was green and fresh and clean and beautiful, and there was tea and coffee and lots of lovely chatter, smiling faces everywhere, really welcoming audience. And I had no notes, no PowerPoint presentation. I just talked because I love what I do and I'm good at what I do, and I back myself now. This is how we're showing up for life. And it was so good. I felt so good. People got so much out of it. All these people were signing up to join, and And the debrief with the lady was like, oh my God, that was the best event we'd ever had. You're amazing. You got to do this more. Yeah, I might do this more. I might put workshops as my offering. Anyway, the universe intervened again, and I'm scrolling Instagram like 10:30 at night in bed. La 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 la, and this lady comes on with the Kingston Collective, and she's saying, it's not farewell, but it is goodbye. I've made the decision to close down the collective. You know, she's juggling too many things, rah, rah, rah. She's going to refund everyone's memberships, and there's other local things that you can buy. And I just thought, no. And literally that I hit reply on the story, and I wrote, no, again, oh, no, 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 no. And she replied back straight away, buy it then. And I said, I will then. And fine then. A little conversation like that. I've screenshot it. It's in my chat. Says coffee tomorrow. Yeah. So next day comes, light of day, and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Cannot let this beautiful network dissipate. It is so good. There is so much value. And especially after COVID and everybody feeling a bit isolated, it's so nice to have real people, real connections. And it's in my local area, and I want to invest in this, right? I want to invest in this community. I want to invest in this area of work. I felt so aligned. Everything feels so right. I cannot let this fall apart. I'm going to just take over. And I love that, because that's what corporate Bec would have done. She would have been just like, yeah, do it. Do the big sky thinking, and then think it, and then just do it. And so I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it. And now my circle of reference is just mum and dad on the family group chat. Hey, you know, that thing I spoke at that was really cool. The ladies might sell it to me today. I'm just going to go have coffee with her. And mum was like, yay, go back. And my dad was like, show me the books. And, oh, yeah, God, okay, money, logic, rah. Anyway, we had a coffee. I asked her a few questions. She asked a few questions. It just felt like, yeah, hand me your baby and I will love it, and I will look after it, and I will help it grow. And she was like, yes, do it. You'll be so good at it. And I'll come to every event and I'll still support you. And I just thought, it's not competitive. It's so collaborative. She's still to this day comes to everything and so supportive, but she's also so encouraging of me to sort of take it and run with it, which I have. I've been able to like evolve it a little bit. So I've had it 6 months now. Every event that I run, we sell out. It's at a local venue all the time, different venue to support local. It's a speaker from their community talking about their business and some advice. And the vibe is amazing. It's such a great community, and I feel like I can impart my marketing advice, life experience now at scale. So whereas my Silver Lioness is very sort of one-on-one, and I can kind of only do 4 or 5 clients, and then I'm at capacity because my focus is still my little lion cub. This allows me to really help at scale with something that I'm good at. And it just, I feel so fulfilled. Like, I can't explain how right this feels. And even the way it unfolded, it's, I'm going to buy the business now. Like, okay, let's use ChatGPT. Do we need like a contract? Okay. Selling business from, blah, 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 and ABNs, and oh my God. And we just made it happen. We just got it done. 2 mums, 2 business ideas, hearts were aligned, values were aligned. We want to like do some community stuff and help people make money and help women feel empowered. Small business owners learn some stuff and feel good. And geez, it's just everything that lights me up. And it's funny because when you say that's how I bought it, or I feel like, oh, I own 2 businesses. Oh my God. Yeah. Rewind the clock 4 years ago, and I was crying on the floor of my childhood bedroom back at mum and dad's house with my little baby in the cot. Like, I suppose it is courageous, but it feels so bloody good. It doesn't feel like, oh, look at me, I'm a hero. It just feels...
You know, courage is not, look at me, how heroic am I? Courage is just surviving. And, you know, do you miss the corporate world at all?
No.
like seriously, seriously, yes, there was a reason why you went to the corporate world in the beginning, but look at where you are now.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I'm listening to your story. And again, I do know a bit of it. And, fruit, like, seriously, you've just got courage shoved in every single nook and cranny. It's just incredible. 4 years ago, you said you were on the floor in your family home where your parents are living, crying. And look at you now. You've got 2 businesses, a healthy child. You're a kick-ass liberated woman. Like, seriously, Bec, amazing. And this is what I love most about this podcast is it's not about bringing, the Tay-Tays of the world. Mind you, I would like to interview her. But yeah, like, this is about the everyday courage, the decisions that we've got to make to get through life. And when life has been a bit of a fairy tale and suddenly that all comes crashing down, I think it actually makes it even harder to then get up again because you've kind of had a vision of, well, this is what I thought it would be and this is how I thought it would be for 30 years and suddenly that's not how it turned around. But look what you've done to turn around. Nobody came and rescued you. There was no knight on a shining white horse and armor. I got all that story wrong, but you get the gist. Nobody came along and, waved that magic wand and sent you off to a ball with silver slippers. You did that yourself. Like, you are so freaking a silver lioness. It's unbelievable. Oh. And you know what? You got the gold medal, okay, as the silver lioness, as the beautiful mum with a baby cub who is the driving force behind your why. You might not have left the corporate world had all of this not happened. You might not have ever started your own business and then bought another business, which lights your heart up within a 5K radius and brings so much hope and love to so many other businesses, local businesses, gives them a chance to shine. They're like, you've done all of this. You are one courageous woman. And on Valentine's Day, I hope you're feeling some self-love, girl.
I am. Yeah, thank you so much, Kim. Yeah, I don't think I've reflected on the whole story like that. And I'm still looking around for who I can attribute this to, like not myself, because my parents are my everything. But yeah, I suppose it was me.
Can you hold a mirror up? Like, I know we can see each other because this is videos. Can you see that woman there with the blonde hair, not the grey, the blonde? That's who you've got to give credit to for where you are now. And you and your story is an inspiration to so many others. To those who've never had the guts to leave the corporate world, for those who've never had the guts to follow through with leaving a relationship that's no longer working, for those of you who've had the guts to persevere and try for something time and time and time again when it wasn't working and still keep going, for those of you who've at 10:30 at night, seen that a business might be folding that does so much good and gone, oh, hang on a second, we can't let that fold, let me buy it, to starting your own business. And as I said, at a time when the advice was get an ABN, when there's plenty of other things I reckon you could have got. Like, seriously, this is the most inspiring, beautiful journey. This is the everyday courage that when you tap into it, like if you can do this, seriously, what next? What next do you want to do? Because you've got courage and you know what, it comes from within. It's there for whatever you need. What is just the next thing that you need to reach in and find some courage to do in your life?
Well, it's a bit of a change of speed, but I have been focused so much on building myself up emotionally and mentally to be able to do the things that I'm doing that I think physically I've perhaps not listened to some of the signs that my body's been giving me. So without going into too much detail, I'm being sort of hormone tested and stuff for some perimenopause things. So that's good fun. But I'm going to need a bit of courage to just trust the doctors and signs and stuff like I have once before and lean into just committing to this phase of life I'm in and making sure I'm getting checks and scans and stuff like I hope everybody who listens to this does. on all the levels, yeah. And just I can't be present in all the things that light me up if I'm neglecting some things like that. So hell, it's not fun. I don't think I've been to the dentist in over 12 months either. So I think it's a bit of a, hey, okay, Bec, big girl pants on. Let's check your eyes, check your teeth, spots on the skin, check your boobs, check all this stuff. Just make the appointments and get them done. I think it is self-awareness on a whole other level. So I'm going to lean into that space this year and make sure that I'm the healthiest person that I can be physically, as well as the mental and emotional side, which I've done the hard yards on now.
Absolutely. And the hard yards continue. But I love that emphasis as someone who I actually thought I fell off a confidence cliff, and it's a conversation for another story. I'm now doing work for Menopause Friendly Australia because of the impact perimenopause and menopause has on women, my own personal experience with it that literally saw me fall off a confidence cliff and hit rock bottom. It is such a big thing to be aware and to listen to our bodies. And especially as we get older, if you don't listen to those signs, those little tiny whispers will become roars, and they're not the kind of roars that lioness need to be roaring. So that is music. That is absolutely music to my ears, even to hear that that's your next step. And that does take courage to stop and listen to what your body is telling it. And here's to you. Seriously, we could talk for like 1,000 more hours. But Bec, thank you for being so raw, so real, and for sharing something that obviously is still, it's a work in progress, but just so grateful for you being here and sharing your story of courage and your journey. And I cannot wait to see where this takes you next. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.